7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, hell, the Knights of the Gimmick Table, where we spit the truth at the infamous round table and your feelings get left at the door. I am Boogaloo. That is LowRyda. And this is the artist formerly known as Kaide Lothbrok. How you guys doing today?
What's going on?
What's going on, everybody? Thank y'all for tuning in.
So enthused to be here, man. So enthused.
Yeah, you already know how I'm feeling.
Yeah, I'm getting over being sick, man. I was sick.
You're getting over being sick. This guy,
yeah, man. Fucking
feeling a little.
This New York weather, man. It goes from 60 degrees to 30. It's bipolar.
You got the BGs over there?
Yeah, bro. No good. Not feeling it. Shit. I forgot to put up the little flyer. This is what we got going on today.
There he is.
I didn't know. We got Monsta Mack on with us. I've been trying to start the show out with that in the background, but I forgot. Sorry. I guess let's get some bills paid before we get started.
All right. I got it.
All right. There you go.
If you or anybody in your family is an athlete, then Sleeves.com is for you. Sleeves offers a wide variety of all your sporting needs, such as headbands, joggers, long tights, short tights, compression pants, compression shorts, rash guards, mouth guards, knee pads, arm sleeves, dick sleeves that Mega likes to wear, and even these dirty boxers. That's what I like to wear when I'm running through the hood and running through your wife. I like to wear them dirty boxers. Jesus. Ladies and gentlemen, use our promo code MWA Pod for your 10% discount, and they're Rosie O'Donnell approved.
All right, yeah, that was a little extra graphic there.
I was trying to get Will Smith to slap me.
Healthvape.com. Health Vape sells healthy vaping alternatives. All their products have no nicotine, harmful or addictive chemicals. They're vitamin infused. Make sure you pick yourself up some of their vape and pod products. Use our code MWA Pod for that 10% discount.
So, okay, what you got going on, man? Oh yeah, go ahead. You want to do some more stuff? Yeah,
we gotta come on, be professional, all right?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, MWA World.
So monotone. You're like fucking Ferris Bueller's teacher right now. Fry, Cameron, Fry, Peterson.
Where's the shirt, man? Get that shirt out there.
Well, I'm trying to get these damn plugs in, but who wants to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at MWA World. Subscribe to us on all podcast platforms and YouTube at MWA Podcast Network. Also, twitch.tv/MWA World if you're not watching there. Follow us on there, subscribe to us, send us bits, help us grow. And then storefrontier.com/MWA World, where you can get this.
There it is.
Super cool. Knights of the Gimmick Table shirt, yeah. But yeah, make sure you go and support your boys. We appreciate that shit.
Wow. Sounds good.
Yeah. So. Okay, what do you got going on, man?
Where were you at this weekend?
I got nothing this weekend, man. I took a week off from the gym. I got
shit.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to relax.
That's why we ain't seen none of those pictures.
Exactly, man. No, I got April 9th and April 9th I'm at Excite, and then April 16th is the return of Foxy. alongside alongside me. It's the first time in 12 years. So
Please,
Okay.
please take some pictures.
she apparently she's got a photographer and everything. So she's ready to
shit.
rock and roll.
Oh, gee.
There's a promo waiting in the wings, so she'll be releasing it soon on her end.
Okay.
And then I guess the real exciting news is my old lady. We got a date and a venue set for our wedding, so I'm actually getting married, which is fucking
what
crazy.
The hell?
Wait,
Yeah, man.
what's the date?
Lucky you.
October 1st, 2023. So we got a ways to go.
Long
But yeah,
way, but hey,
I'm actually getting married. I was like, holy shit, it's crazy.
more power to you, man.
We're gonna actually do a we're gonna do a
we're gonna do a
podcast
podcast
from your reception.
from the reception.
reception.
That's it. We're
Gonna do commentary. I'm gonna sit down
Hey,
there, and as you can see, look at his fingers. He's looking a little nervous there.
I already told her it's gonna be a fucking gimmicked up wedding. You know, I want to make this shit fucking fun.
And I can
Oh,
see
man.
the way he's
That's
looking at her
awesome,
with the
man.
lust in his eyes.
But yeah, man, that's it. You know, just fucking hanging in there, doing my thing, and
Awesome.
same.
All right, sweet, bro.
Well, without further ado, let's bring our guest on. We have one half of the former Hit Squad, right?
The hit squad, the heavy hitters.
The heavy hitters with Boogaloo and with rest in peace Havoc.
Yeah.
Shit, man, he's been a tag champ so many damn times. I don't even think you know how he knows how many
This
times.
guy's a tag team specialist.
He is, man. We're gonna bring him in right now. Steve Monsta Mack.
Oh shit!
he is.
And he's Billy Gunn, right?
What's
A
up,
tag
brother?
team specialist.
What's going on, guys? How you guys
What's
doing?
up?
By the way,
What's up?
congratulations, Kate, on the future wedding.
Yeah,
Wish you guys nothing but the best. That's
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
Found
How
somebody.
you guys doing? I feel like I haven't
Shit.
seen you guys in years. Not Kate, I seen last year or the year before.
I think
saw
last
you
time
got-
we saw
I
each
saw-
other was the Brody Cup, right?
Yeah.
I think that was
Pops,
that-
what's going on?
My dad says, "What's up?"
What up, Dad?
Hey, yeah. Last time we saw you was WrestleMania weekend.
All right,
Jeez.
respect the crowd.
Was that
Podcast. What's
2018?
going on? Thank you for tuning
Yeah.
in, brother.
What was that too? That was because I saw you guys. You guys were with Homicide, right? That was
Yeah.
in Florida. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember running into you guys
Yeah,
too.
you were down there too. Yeah, You
Yeah.
were
Yeah,
all
where
white.
did we run into? Yeah,
Yeah, that's the fucking the awakening. Fucking,
That was when we did 3 a.m. for Beyond Wrestling, and
Yeah,
we were
Yeah,
like, what the
you had
fuck?
wrestled Jeff Cobb and
No, it was
we were Brian Cage, right?
Brian Cage and Mike, Big Mike Elgin.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
They were the
yeah.
super
That's what
strong
it was.
machines. I forget what they were called. Unbreakable machines, something like that.
yeah.
But yeah, that was man. That
Yeah,
feels
that's the
like
last time
forever
I've seen
ago.
you, man. Fuck, that has been a minute.
Yeah, shit.
It was.
It's good to see you guys. I mean,
Yeah,
people don't even know how far back we go. Like
Yeah.
we're looking at 20 years plus. And
Yeah,
that's
man.
crazy.
it's
Right,
insane.
right.
Now we all got
Riding in
families.
the, riding
Arcade's
in the
about to start
cars,
going.
you know.
It's pretty
A
dope.
lot of crazy nights in the doghouse.
Oh yes, Doghouse, Philly, Allentown, you name it. What was the one that hot dog place that Pops used to run?
Hot dog place.
Oh, it was that hot dog spot,
Oh, Scioto.
Scioto. Yeah,
Oh, the
I
barbecue.
actually
the
I'm
barbecue.
down the road from
No,
Scioto.
yeah, it was a hot dog thing right there.
Yeah.
Was it a hot
Yeah.
dog place? Oh, I thought
Yeah,
it was like
barbecue. It was barbecue and hot dog. Yeah, but they
okay.
were known for their hot dogs.
I just
Yeah.
remember the damn.
Remember, because that's
barbecue,
where
man.
what's her name was eating the hot dog, and I made that comment. She almost choked. What was her name? What was her name? Oh, Psycho Bitch.
That was her name.
Yeah,
Psycho bitch.
No, Psycho.
Oh, Psycho.
It was. Yeah, I remember that.
I mean, it's indie wrestling. It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Her name was fucking Psycho bitch.
Yeah,
That
it
was
was
actually
like the
the
call
song me and
that.
Boogaloo used.
Huh?
Psycho Bitch. That's the song that me and you used when we teamed up from Tech 9.
Yep. Yeah. Tech 9. Yeah.
Yep. I think you guys were the first guys I ever met that listened to any of the Juggalo stuff. And you guys put me onto it. I still don't listen to everything. It's like beyond me. But
He listened to it.
Yeah.
I just like some of the songs.
yeah, but that song was dope. Homicide was like,
Tech
you
9's
realize
legit.
it's a song about a girl, right? And I was like, yeah, I know, but the beat is fat. He's like, but if people listen, I said, D, do you ever go to a show and listen to the words for a song that people use? No.
Yeah.
Jesus.
He like, hey, Homicide.
He didn't say
That's
it
one
like
in
that.
their song was people equal shit. I mean, what kind of baby faces do you want us people to equal shit to us?
But, you know, I just want to say it's funny because LowRyda brought up commentating. Do you know that before we ever met, we did that ICW show where LowRyda was commentating.
Yeah.
Didn't know us.
Yeah, I didn't know y'all
The chubby
motherfuckers.
fat boys, or whatever it was that you said, right? And I remember people were like, "Yo, that's fucked up. Who the fuck's it?" I don't care. It's fucking commentating. And I met you, and I was like, so you the little nigga, huh?
Little neighbor.
Little neighbor. Yes.
It was with an A. It was with an A. But like from that point on, it was all love between.
Yeah, man.
Dude. If you seen him, he was dressed in a white suit with a fucking lucha mask on.
Yes. Is that the same show that Tajiri wrestled Key? I've seen that match, and you're doing commentary on it, LowRyda.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't even.
It's out of the Elks Lodge.
It's been so damn long.
That was
I don't remember half the shit.
But it was funny because it was like the Hit Squad's first New York match, and we're going crazy with tables and stuff like that.
It was us working each other, right? Against Boogie Nights, right?
It was you guys and Boogie Nights as well. And everyone thought that it was a hit on the Boogie Nights because of the riot that their boys had caused I think a year or two earlier.
Your boys caused.
What happened?
Your boys caused the riot.
No, their boys. I'm saying.
No, I saw that. I saw that video, dude.
It wasn't our boys. It was them. They all stood up and they all got retarded. And we was like,
Jay Lover sparked that shit.
Well, then that's not my, that's my boy.
I saw the video. Jay Lover started that whole shit. That he caused that riot.
Did he? Oh well, I remember seeing the fans get up and start charging the ring, and I was like, here we go. And,
that was a crazy fucking tape.
That's a great tape.
And like everyone thought, so we're having our match. Our match is over. We do our table spot with Boogie Nights, and then Big Dick Dudley comes out the ring and like. What are you doing here? And Goodman, Goodman was like trying to hold him back. He was like, "Nah, Dick, it's cool." And he was like, "No." So Big Dick standing in the ring, and he's like, "You guys just did all this, but why don't you take me on?" So I look at Danny. I said, "I think this dude is for real. If it is, when we get in the ring, I'm gonna aim straight for his knee. You go up high, right?" So Danny's like, "All right, let's go." So we start walking, and then Goodman's like, "No, don't. He's connected to the mob." And I was like, I don't care. He wants to be brave. We're going to show him what's up. And back then, we didn't care. We were just like, fuck it, let's go. And but Goodman caught the better of us. And then we get to the back, and Big Dick came over to us, and he was like, I just want to apologize to you guys. They told us you were shooting on them. It's like, nah, bro, it's all magic. And then like we all grew from that point on. But like that first show was just insanity. You know what I mean? Like, it was like the Hit Squad made a big appearance in New York, and everybody just lost their mind.
Bro, I forgot all about fucking Big Dick and
Filthy
Creep coming out on that too.
Yeah. They thought it was real. It was like, but you guys work for ECW. You saw the
but the funny thing is, Goodman was the one that sent them out.
Yeah, because Goodman thought it was real too.
Goodman was the one that sent them out. And then he's telling you that he's connected to the mob.
Yeah. No. But what happened was in the time that Big Dick went out, if you watch the tape, you see Goodman turns to the Boogie Nights and they're like, "Oh man, this is so great. We love this match." And he's confused. Like you can see it on his face. He's like, I don't know what to do. And so he saw that me and Danny were charging up to go in. And he stopped us. He was right there. He was like, let's just go to the back. And
I remember. I don't know if I was standing next to you or Danny when he was coming out, and they were like, "Is this guy serious?" I was like, "Man, fuck him. Let's keep going." I was like, "Fuck him."
Pierce, what's up, brother?
There he is, the boss.
Hope you feeling better, man.
Say what's up to Respect the Craft. That's my boy Ray.
Okay,
we're doing a podcast every couple of weeks. Glory Days podcast that we just did our first episode with. Deranged and Corvus Fear, and that was pretty dope.
Deranged.
He's living down in Texas, man. He's doing his thing. He's getting busy with Game Changer, and he'll be back on the East Coast. You know how Deranged is. He disappears for like 5 years and then comes back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Loving the show. All right, Pierce. Thank you, brother.
That's what's up.
Here's the
dude.
show just started. How you loving it?
Hey, man.
Love it, bro. Don't question it.
He's
Just
been
accept
loving
love.
the 15 minutes in, man. Fuck.
But speaking of commentary, Mac and Moff commentated my match with Tremont at Beyond at the casket match. I swear to God, I mean the match was good. I love the match, but that commentary, they put us over like we were fucking Brody and Abby. It was you guys. I owe you guys so much for that because that really put us, at least me, because Matt was established, but that definitely put me on his same level. So I owe you guys a lot for that. So I always appreciated that,
Bro, that's one of my That's one of my favorite Beyond matches that I wasn't a part of.
I appreciate
it. You guys are doing some stuff, and it was like, and I was legit worried for you because of the concrete spot and then the casket spot. I was like, God, I hope this kid is.
Yeah, your reaction though, like I remember I asked you how to look, and you and Danny were just like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
he screamed
during the commentary. Ah!
No, but like, it was like
signature Monsta Mack shit.
When he came up to me, he was like, "Yo, we were generally concerned for you guys because we were doing some stupid shit that I was like." Now I'm like, after the weight loss and everything, I'm like, "Fuck, what the hell did I do?"
If you could get him to do that, or the ouch.
Oh, you fucking
you got him. I said, you pop Monsta Mack if you get.
When they did that casket spot, that was like me and Danny. We didn't even look at each other. We both like it was kind of like we looked at each other, but we didn't. And we both said, "Holy fuck!" And we were just like, "Yo, he's dead, bro."
What was the spot?
He was fighting to get out the casket, right? That's what it was.
Yeah. So Matt put me in the casket, and because I'm a mark for taker, I had to do the old sit up and goozle him. And we were trying to figure out something cool to do, and I suggested, "Yo, take the cinder block and hit me in the head with it," And he's like, "I don't know." So we asked Kingston, and Eddie just walked away from me in disgust. And then Matt's like, "We'll ask Gage." And Gage fresh out of prison, looking like he's going to kill somebody, jacked to the gills. He's like, "That's fucking awesome. Fucking do that shit." I'm like, "Well, we're stuck in it now." And Matt didn't try to kill me, but dude, like if you watch I'll send you guys the match. You can actually hear it sounds like a watermelon smashing on the ground.
Yeah.
And it fucked my world up, dude. I was out for like 2 or 3 days. Like I had like a equilibrium problem. They gave me these pills. Like I learned so much about equilibrium and balance in 3 days, and I never knew in my entire life.
What, bro? It really legit like a squash watermelon. Like it sounded loud in the building, and that was because where we were commentating, we were up in the balcony, and there's people around us, and the people on the floor. And when they hit that, you could still hear it as if it was right next to your ear. So me and Moff were just like, we turned right after the match is over. We were like, "Yo, those kids are dead, both of them." That's all we can say. We're like, "Yo, they dead, son."
But and then we were supposed to work you guys too, and then Matt wound up getting that infection, and then Drew got tired of playing with his toys and put us back in the toy box. Yeah, that was it.
He did it with the hit squad too.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's just Drew is Drew. I tell everyone that works there now, like, hey, just don't get comfortable because when he gets bored, and that's it. He moves on.
Yeah. It was good while it lasted there. That was,
dude. You guys fucking killed it there, man.
That's what I'm saying. Awesome. I found out we had a second run in us there, and like I remember Moff, he kind of was hesitant because he was starting to feel like the old man and the old lion, and these guys like Dickinson and Jaka and Mike and Angel EYFBO, and like all those guys that were young and hungry, like they were going to eat us up. And I was like, I had to remind him on the way up when we were driving there for that first show. I was like, "Bro, I don't know why you sweating things, because it's just like football. Once you get on the field, when they hand you the ball, you're going to remember what it's like to smash someone in the face." And he was like, "I don't know, especially Dickinson. He's so like jacked and hungry." And I was like, "Bro, we got this. Trust me." Yeah, no, Dickinson. This is when Dickinson.
Yeah, I know.
Dickinson's a beast. Yeah, he's a beast, but
Moff was a little nervous because at that point,
at the end of the day, you guys are the hit squad.
Yeah, but he forgot, and we hadn't teamed up on the regular probably for like 5 years at that point.
But also, you guys understand, like going to Beyond, like that would be like going to Ring of Honor in the early days where you and Homicide and Matt, like that was their backyard. Like Jaka and those cats and Dickinson, that was like stepping into the they were the guys that ran the yard, so to speak. Them and like JT, but I mean, dude, you guys came in and like you guys fucking killed it. The only time I ever questioned anything at Beyond when it came to you guys, when I think it was you and Moff. I want to say D and Loki, and then they put Shinron with you guys. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Oh yeah,
It was like one of these things doesn't belong with the other. It was so random and just. I was like, what are you doing? Like this is just the weirdest thing.
It was him being experimental, and
What did he do?
It was like the finals of the tournament, and it was with Shinron and Kimberly, right? Is that what
I believe. No, it was when it was like a 5-on-5 when you guys wrestled Pazuzu, which was
wasn't it like us, Kingston, Shinron?
Yeah, or maybe D was, or maybe Loki wasn't involved.
I think D was there. I think D was there, and Kingston and Shinron, because Key couldn't make it, or something.
That's what it was. And the Shinron thing was just so like.
Shinron was like the fill-in for Key, but
he
actually died that match. Do you remember?
Yeah.
He went for a dive, and there was 10 guys out there, and he
missed
really hot. And he just, we had the basket, and he pulled us down and fell straight to the concrete.
And he's 100 pounds. That's the best thing. He's this flippy dippy kid. I mean, the shit that he can do is impressive. He's like, but he like wears like a Dragon Ball Z dragon mask, and he was the Chilean champion. Nice guy, but just awkward to see these 5 killers and then this kid.
And like the crazy thing is, he did that dive, and then he had to get up because the next spot he's supposed to hit coast to coast diagonal, how Reefer used to do it, and he goes to hit it, and he hurt his back even more. And we were just like, "Damn, kid, sorry."
I did a 5-way with him, and he told the 4 of us, he's like, "I'm gonna land right here." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I'm gonna land right here. This is where I need you guys." He's like, "You're gonna dive, and you're gonna land exactly here." He goes, "Yep." We're all waiting for him. He dives and completely sails over us. And everyone does the indie, we all fall down, and he's going, oh, fuck. And I'm like, well, we were here, asshole.
You told us right here.
God.
Unbelievable.
Beyond was fun, though. There was a lot of, I got to wrestle guys like Keith Lee, Dijak, Shane Taylor, Chris Hero, JT Dunn, Ciampa Gargano. Like, they gave us a really solid run. And Mike and Angel, UIFBO, Santana Ortiz, those guys, like we only had one feud, and that was them. And we passed the torch to them, but we made them earn it. And like it built our self-esteem back up. And like, you can see it now. Like when you look, Moff is all over the place doing his thing. Like the only reason why I don't go all out crazy like that is because I like my outside life from wrestling. I love being in the ring and doing my thing and teaching the younger guys, but Moff really loves wrestling, so he's going crazy with his run, and that's because we had that Beyond run. I mean, you look, he's up in Connecticut almost every other week, and he's got a huge following because whatever we set in Beyond, it carried over, and it just is one of those things that like it really, because I like the fans were right on the ring, and we never had that before. And when the first time we wrestled there, like it was like we got charged with extra life. Huh?
That's so weird that the fans are. I watched that and I'm like, man, this is not safe.
Well, the thing is, I think I only hit like one fan the entire time. I wrestled there for 4 years.
And they don't care.
They were all about it. When I hit the guy with my knee, and the guy was like, yeah. I was like, bro, you're okay. I'm fucking great, man. I'm like, all right, buddy, thanks.
Now, let me ask you a question. I mean, do they sign a waiver before they come in the building? Because man, that's a liability.
So when we were there, I say we were there in like the period of it. We were there when that building be packed, and that had to have been like at least 1,000 people, and they were on top of each other, standing the whole time. Mm-hmm. And like, guys would go brawling in the crowd and die. Fans would get hit. There'd be hardcore weapons, shit flying in the crowd. It was one of those like. It was like PWG times ECW. Like it had this weird vibe. It just, I'm blessed and fortunate that I got to be a part of that because I see what he's doing now, and they're still rocking. But to me, it's not that same vibe. There was it was like a magic, if you would. It was so intense, man. Like you guys would have thrived in it, 100%. Like you'd go there and you'd be like, fuck this 4-hour drive, this 5-hour drive, whatever. And that show would start, dude, and those people would show up and. Not even just the merch sales. They would just 100% the whole show from top to bottom. And it was, if you were the opening match, you set that pace, dude. And Steve, you can, and there were some matches, guys would be looking at the curtain going, how the fuck am I going to follow this? Like, everyone just went out to outdo each other. It was great, but dude, there were some matches that I'd be stressed, like, how am I going to follow the Young Bucks, or how am I going to follow the Hit Squad, or the fucking EYFBO? It was intense.
I used to say that about EYFBO a lot, watching them, because they were taking a lot of good chances, not silly sloppy risks. They were taking good chances, and they were wrestling smart. And then whatever we were teaching, they were absorbing and using. And when I would watch them wrestle, like I watched them wrestle the Wolves, and the Wolves, Eddie Edwards he's a beast, you know what I mean? And Davey Richards, we know what kind of animal he is. And I watched them hold their own, and I was like, man, that's pretty dope. But at the same time, like, how can we top that? You know what I mean? Like, they just put in some maximum effort type nonsense. And it was like, but at the same time, because again, we got the fans, once they start banging the ring and they start chanting your name and you feel it, and then you get instant gratification. When you hit a spot, you hear everything. And all you hear is stuff like, oh my God, yo, that kid is dead. He's dead. I can't, there's no way. You know what I mean? And you're like, I got him. And it just felt so good. You know what I mean? Like, I can't, it's like a battery got put into our back and we got lit. You know what I mean? And it was a lot of fun. Like I said, it was a lot. You know what it was too? Like, it was like the men were showing the boys how to do stuff, and the boys were learning and picking up. So it was like cross-generational going on, because a lot of the younger guys who are all now on WWE or AEW, they were listening to all of us vets and doing what we were doing, and it was kind of cool. You know what I mean? Like, it was a different vibe from everywhere else that I ever worked, and that includes a lot of time at JP where we set a lot of the standard. You know what I mean? But Beyond was dope when we were there. Now it's a lot more intergender stuff, which for me, I'm like, all right, cool. But if I clothesline one of these girls,
see, we talked about that obviously, the intergender stuff, because it's just like, it just doesn't make enough sense for me to see a dude like you wrestling a girl, or you and Moff versus two females. It's like, come on, like, I don't give a fuck how big some of these chicks are. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, there's a couple of them. There was that one Maria Manic that she was a power lifter, and we had a match. We had a good match, and the clip where she press slammed me over her head went viral because, I mean, I look like I weigh 300 pounds. I don't, and fuck you to anybody who says I'm more than 3, because I know what I weigh. But she picked me up over her head, and like, people all around the wrestling world were talking about it that next day when the clip went out. You know what I mean? And I did what I could to make her get good. That spot, get shine. And but at the same time, if I'm in there with someone who weighs 120 pounds, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to be believable. It's hard to tell a good story.
What happened?
Where's she at now?
She was with Teddy Hart, and she just went.
Yeah, I know where she is. I mean, she doesn't really want anyone knowing. She's trying to get her shit together. But yeah, the Teddy Hart thing kind of fucking spiraled it out of control for her.
And she had a bright future because she was a smart kid when it came to this.
She was pretty too, beautiful girl too.
Yeah. I mean, like, if me and Moff were to wrestle two girls, it would have to be, Lufisto and Jordan Grace, because their characters would match up with us. But outside of that, maybe that Max chick, you know what I'm talking about, okay, right?
Yeah, I've worked her plenty. Well, sorry, them. Sorry, I don't want to. Don't need to get canceled. Them.
But there's her and her partner, or them and their partner. They're big, but like, even then, like, there's going to be a certain point where you could see that it's just a total difference. You know what I mean? So it's hard for us to pull back.
You can't lay in that clothesline from Compton like you would on, Boogaloo and Homicide, or you know what I'm saying? Like, you just can't. Like, if you do, and then you fuck this girl up or whatever, or dumb up, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but it's the same thing for smaller guys too, because even though I love wrestling the smaller guys, I'm not going to kill them with, if the guy's less than 150, I'm not going to kill him. So I don't want it to be that it's, someone sees this and they're like, oh, they're being sexist against girls. No, it's guys and girls of a certain size. You can't go in there and kill them because that just takes away from everything. You know what I mean? Like, why watch the match then? You want them to have a chance, but in order to have a chance, they have to be believable. You know what I mean? And
you remember the outrage with Dickinson and Kimberly. Remember that shit? You guys were there for that. Yeah. That was wild, dude. Like, I was blown away that it didn't happening. I was like, this is wrestling. Like, and that was just complete. Like, I mean, he took care of her. It was scary, but it wasn't like he was going out to hurt her, and that just went haywire.
But they also, because they did that, that's what led to a lot more intergender. That's what opened the door, basically. And but the thing was, at that point, it was so shocking to see Dickinson throw her and her take the abuse and then give it back. You know what I mean? And like we had a match with Janela and Penelope Ford, and we were doing some stuff, and we did the setup. We went viral with that match too because I knew that she liked to do the Muda handspring elbow, and
yes, this was awesome.
Yeah, and like,
okay, I saw that.
Yeah, it went viral. That went viral because we made that story make sense. Janela is fighting the whole fight. She comes in every time she gets stuck with us. Either she eats something like the press slam, or Janela is able to save her. And then the one time that Janela is taken out, I do something stupid. I start talking trash to her. She gets fired up. She starts hitting me. And people were like, how come you aren't hitting her back? And I'm like, I want her to get some steam. And then I knew what was coming next. You know what I mean? Moff comes in. She sets me up. Moff comes in with the spear while she's upside down, and everybody lost their minds.
I remember that.
Yeah, I know.
I remember that. That was
the worst part is me and Moff. I don't remember who brought it up in the car going up. I want to say it was me because we had done it a couple of weeks before with I can't think of his name. The one that's in NXT with Kimberly's husband, Desmond Xavier.
Zach Wentz.
Yeah, but his partner, Desmond. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So we did it at CZW a couple of weeks before, and we had done that spot. Actually, we done it originally with Key back in like 2001. So like it was just a throwback to that. And once I knew that she did it, I was like, man, I think pretty sure if we hit it. And then he was like, are you saying for me to spear her? I was like, yes. And like the way he was like, like, once Moff gets lit, you know what I mean? The creep mode comes out. So creep mode came out. And then when we told them the idea, she was all for it. Penelope Ford, let me tell you, that is a down ass chick. Like, she's cool as hell. I've known her since like her rookie year. She's cool as hell. She really won't say no to much. But like, once we told her and she saw, at first she was kind of like, I just got to get it, the timing. We practiced it one time. Nobody was around. And when we practiced it, it was like, oh, she was definitely down. And I think Janela was a little nervous, but at the same time, Janela was all about that viral moment too. So he knew. He was like, this, we hit this right, is going to be insane. And sure enough, it was. You know what I mean? And it just, you could make big moments out of that, but you got to do it smart. You know what I mean? And after she took that, she was done. There was nothing else for her in that match. That was her final spot. She went out the ring. She hung out, and like she sold until she left the building. So as long as it's done properly, it could be done. But also, you have to realize that like the size difference, it really is a difference. You can't just take some of these 110, 120 pound girls and treat them like if they're wrestling like 220 pound guys, because it's not going to work. The physics of everything. I mean, you have to really suspend your belief, but it's impossible. You know what I mean? At least for me, so other fans is different, whatever, but sometimes it's just really hard for me to see certain things. Like you get a 5'2" girl tackling a 6'2" guy. You know what I mean? It's like,
or her spearing you or some shit. It just doesn't make sense, And that,
do you remember, Steve? It was at the Beyond where they did like the pre-show, like small building, and it was I know Carter was in it. I forget who he was teaming with, but it was against Cherry and I think Kimberly, and Danny stood up and just started losing his mind, screaming at the girls to fight back and just start killing them. Dude, like, yeah, you guys, like, that shit was nuts that Danny just lost shit and started throwing shit. And, like, you were just sitting there like, what the fuck are you doing?
I think Carter kicked Kimberly, if I remember correctly. He kicked Kimberly a little tight, and Danny was like, what the fuck? And, like, he just started, like, the veins coming out of his side of his neck, and, like, he was just getting livid and sweating. I'm like, bro, chill. We got a match later. He would get hyped like that. You know what I mean? But that's because at the same time, too, like, Moff is smart enough to know that if we're around the fans and we're watching a match and they're going to look at our reactions of what's going on, then they know that if we sell something and we're like, ooh, that was something that really hurt. So Moff was, if I get these girls hyped, then the crowd is going to bite and they're going to want to see the girls make the comeback on the guys. You know what I mean? And it was just little things like that to help progress. You know what I mean? Like with the commentary with Stockade and Tremont. You know what I mean? It's the things to help make it better. So that way we know that if we say things in a passionate way, I hate saying passionate because I feel like we talk about love making. But, you know, if you say things in a passionate way, when the fans hear it, they know that we're wrestlers and they feel like if we're saying it that way, then there's a reason for it. So we're going to follow it. You know what I mean? And it's just to help get things even more over than what it is. You know, and it's just little things like that.
Yeah.
Beyond.
And let me rewind back because we started talking about other shit, but let's talk about how'd you get your start in this in the business.
So I grew up with my cousin Key, Low Key. We live like, I would say we live like 10, 15 blocks away from each other, and we were always together. We went to school together up till freshman year of high school. Same school, same everything, and pretty much same class for the most part. And my uncle, his father, he put us on to wrestling. And we always, I mean, you guys know Key is very athletic, if nothing else, you know what I mean? And I was always trying to keep up with him. So, like, it's a matter of just because I was able to keep up with him doing stuff. I mean, he always excelled, but, like, I was right behind him. It wasn't like it was 10, you know, fat guy and little guy 20 times away from each other.
Yeah, but you weren't fat, bro. I seen pictures of you back then. You were
I was chubby. I was
not back. I seen the high school pictures.
But you know, I always was able to maintain some sort of shape just by keeping up with him. And once we got into high school, I met Low Life Louie. I had already known Mace Mendoza from the Christopher Street Connection.
You were in school, all school together?
Pretty much, yeah. Louie, we went to high school together with Mace. Kevin Matthews was there. We went to elementary school. There was a few guys that we all went to school together. And Louie had told me, I want to say like junior year, he was like, oh, dude, we got this ring and we got, you know, this guy, his Pedro, he lets us go rent the ring and we just do whatever the fuck we want. That's going to come down. He knew that we love wrestling. And me and Key, we used to get in trouble because we'd be wrestling in his bed. And he lived in an apartment building. So, of course, the neighbors downstairs were like, it was shaking. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah.
Hanging up.
And his mom, they call his mom at work. She'd come home, whip our ass with the belt, go back to work. And we'd be, all right, we lived, so let's keep fighting. And, you know, we, one afternoon, there was like a block party, you know, parade type nonsense. And they had a wrestling ring. And Bodyguard for Hire was in charge with, I don't know if you guys remember Tommy D from Long Island.
Yes. Yeah.
So Tommy D, the guy who found his claim to fame is he found Mick Foley. Tommy D had his ring set up, and Bodyguard for Hire, Mike Cruel, and his brother, was there. Like, just, you know, they weren't putting on a show. They just had the ring. Mm-hmm. So me and Key, my mom came home, and she was like, oh, there's a wrestling ring. You should go. So we ran, we talked to the guy, and we're like, is there any way we could wrestle? He's like, you guys know how to wrestle? We're like, yeah, we've been wrestling for a few months now. Never even stepped in the ring before. We've never even seen a ring before. You know what I mean? So we go. back home, we put on like t-shirt and sweats and our sneakers and go back out. And I remember somehow Brandon had I broke that boo. I called him Brandon. Somehow he had bike knee pads. And I remember like everybody in WWF back in the day had the bike knee pads. So like, it's like, damn, man, I want to be cool with bike knee pads. I was so jealous, right? But we had this match and there was like maybe like about 200 people in the street. We start wrestling, and within like 2 minutes, there was like 5,000 people, and they surrounded the ring. And everything we were doing, I mean, we're green as hell. We grabbed the wrong arm. We almost killed each other twice. But everything we were doing, they were going nuts for. So finally,
what spots were you stealing back? I mean, because you guys are green as hell. So
it was Muda versus Vader, basically. You know what I mean? He was doing all his Muda spots. I was doing all my Vader spots. And he goes for a moonsault. And when he goes for the moonsault,
he's never done a moonsault before.
No,
right?
no, we could have died, bro. Like it would have been
because like he ever practiced a moonsault on the bed or nothing like that?
Nothing. You know what?
God.
The only time we ever practiced a moonsault was when we had that big blizzard. What was it? 96, 95?
Yes. I
and
remember
they
that
made
blizzard.
like these giant piles of snow, and we were up there, and we were both practicing moonsaults. That's the only time we ever practiced a moonsault. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
crazy.
He goes for the moonsault, and when he goes, he kicked the street light. So when he kicked the street light, everyone lost their mind. So we both were smart enough to be like, all right, that's it, finish, go for the cover. So he stays, gets to 1, 2, 3. They all go crazy, and like they were going nuts, and like, but we were still juniors in high school, so we weren't like, oh, that's it, we're gonna be wrestlers now. We just were like, oh man, that was amazing. I hope we get a chance to do that again. And Tommy D was calling me at like 2 a.m. I've got a ring rental if you want to help set up. And it was like, bro, I'm like 17. I can't do that shit, right? So fast forward to 97, Louis tells us about the, Pedro's, and we go down there. And again, none of us are trained. None of us have done any of this, but we're recording, and I'm sure you can find something of it on YouTube, or if not, ask Louis, he would have it. But it was just a bunch of guys getting in the ring. It was like Buffy, Mace, SAT was there, but they weren't never there when we were there. Red was there with them. Quiet Storm, Divine. Like I said, Kevin Matthews, me, Key. There was a couple other people that were there. And I remember Louis telling us about Lathon, and, he was the guy that was showing them. But we did like maybe 5 months. Yeah, give or take 5 or 6 months. And then one day Homicide walks in. And now again, we weren't training. We were just doing these tapings every other week, paying our $10. People were signing their name, Tom Brandy. And then Pedro would be like, Mira, Louis, ¿quién es Tom Brandy? You know what I mean? Like, it was like the most ghetto shit. But
Herb Rodriguez.
Yes, Herb Rodriguez got a lot. Herb Perez got a lot of love, bro.
Oh,
but,
shit.
Homicide was there, and he heard me and Key talking about New Japan, and like we knew our stuff because we've been following since the late 80s. And he was like, "Oh, I hear you guys, talk about New Japan. That's what's up." And
Let me second though.
Yo,
I hear you talk about New Japan.
But he also heard from the guys there, because me and Key were the original Hit Squad. Okay. So, and it was me, Key, Mace, and Louis. Even though Louis was like 5 different characters, he was like the Jackal, he was Marv Albert, he was fucking Louis, the War Machine, and like
he was Marv Albert.
Yeah, wait, let me just explain to you. So Marv Albert, this is when he bites the fucking chick, the prostitute, and all that shit happens. Louis took one of his mom's bras, one of her house dresses, and tights, and a mask, and he stuffed the bra. And so me and Marv Albert are having a match, right? Marv Albert, I was the company was called IWW, Insane World Wrestling, and I was the IWW champ. And Marv Albert challenges me for the champ, and he pulls a dildo made out of salami, and smacks me across the face with it for the win. So I did the job too.
Was that the
Dildo
first?
swab.
Was that the first Louis dildo spot ever?
You know what? I believe it was actually. Although he did do the Abnulwima where he had the plunger in his ass and
remember
then walked
I remember
around.
that.
Gimmick.
Yeah, I remember that.
So one of those two was the first, but either which way, you know, and like I said, once Homicide saw that we were the hit squad, him and Jerry and their old friend who passed away, Mike Stone, they were the hit squad. So it was like, oh, Louis was like, oh, we're gonna book hit squad versus hit squad, and we wrestled them and we held our own. And from that point on, Homicide took us under his wing and trained us, and Lathon too, because Lathon was always there. And you know, it's just been 25 years of being friends with Homicide. You know what I mean? Like from that day, you know, and Lathon too, and it just been. It was like it was a natural thing. Like it just wasn't like, you know how sometimes you kind of got to get like accustomed to someone before you could be friends with them. Like we just gelled natural. Right. And it was because of New Japan, WCW, we were all into that shit. And, you know, him being from the hood, and I grew up with my grandfather. He lived on Park Avenue over by not too far from Bed-Stuy. So we all knew, like, you know, Willoughby, and we knew about Flushing, and, you know, Graham and Fat Alberts and all this stuff. So like we all knew about that stuff, and just we got together, and it was like we were friends before we were even friends. You know what I mean? It was kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's kind of like when we all started rolling. It was like pretty much off rip. We all became gelled right off rip. You know, once after y'all worked each other, we all started fucking chilling, and it was just like chilling from there. You know.
Mm-hmm. I can remember the first match, that crazy ICW show, laughing mad hard at Boogie because Boogie was telling jokes all night and cracking on everybody. But hearing you laugh as you're cracking on the people that you were cracking on made me laugh even harder because you got that fucking oh, and I would fucking die. And I was like, bro, this dude is hilarious.
Oh shit, dude. All right, so so then you go from there, and the doghouse comes into effect, right?
Yeah.
So that's
Bobby
like Bobby
opened up the
Lombardi.
first spot in Queens
Lethbridge,
by
right?
I forget what the name is.
Lethbridge Avenue.
Yeah, he opened up that first spot there, and actually before it opened, me and Lathon, we had spent like 3 nights there getting everything cleaned up, set up. Homicide would come through too, but he was only there during the day. But me and Lathon, we'd slept there, and we were, you know, cleaning up and moving things around. And I can remember it would, because it was during the wintertime, it was like legit maybe 15 degrees outside, and there was no heat in that building, so it was freezing. And me and Lathon slept on these recliners, and I remember looking at Lathon sleeping like this. And I was like, Lathon, are you sleeping? He was like, no, I'm frozen. I can't move. I'm suffering rigor mortis. I was like, I am too, bro. And I was like, but, you know, I guess we're going to have to freeze because I ain't hugging up on you. He's like, well, fuck you then.
You'd be so lucky to hug up on me.
But you know, we set that up, and then once ball started rolling on that, I mean, we were only there for a year. I don't even think a full year. And then we moved over to Jamaica Avenue. Yeah. And once we were at Jamaica Avenue, you saw we were sleeping there every like 5 days a week.
We were there. Dude, I remember you didn't even have a license, and you would take the car and drive all the way from Staten Island.
Yep. I whose ever car.
You're like, look, I got here without a lesson. Never took a driving lesson.
Bro, I used to kill myself because I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna drive over this Verrazano Bridge. This shit is scary as hell. But I did it every time. I was like, screw it, I'm going.
Fuck yeah, man. Man, we had some good nights there, man. Like every night we were there pretty much every night.
Mm-hmm.
Every
it
night.
was always the same routine too. It was like We, during the afternoon, everybody be chilling, watching videos in the office. Then Bobby would come. We start listening to music, start warming up. Then like the younger guys would come, start working out with them. They'd leave, and that's when all of us got in there, and we all would go until 3, 4, 5 in the morning. And then if we stopped early, it was to watch movies or whatever was on TV. But
remember us practicing moonsaults?
I was saying the other day, do you remember when I was practicing the 450?
Yes.
You were the only one that witnessed me hit the 450 the one time.
Yeah.
And the same thing with the Terminator. I just climbed up.
Oh yeah.
I was like, screw it, I'm going. And you missed the first one, but then the second one, you're like, did you just hit the Van Terminator? Yeah. I was like, I think so.
Yeah. And then, but I remember that we were doing running moonsaults. You remember that? We would run and then turn and
jump off.
Yeah.
It was kind of like the Amazing Red shooting red press or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
We went into moonsaults.
Yeah.
Fucking and Papa Don was doing it with us. I remember he kept like German suplexing himself. He's like, bam.
Yeah, I mean, but that was the place. Like we could learn and practice, and we had each other's back, and we always like, no matter what, like, because some places I see a lot of times where people are jealous of other people that they work with, and instead of helping them out, they give him the wrong advice, or they give him, them no advice. But with us, we were always telling each other, bro, if you did just this, or, maybe you should try this, or whatever it was, we were always giving each other love. And, it's crazy that we.
Why is he on your?
Why is he on my thing? That's my son. Hey,
what up, Lucas? But we always had each other. We always motivated each other. That was the other thing. We always motivated each other. And I was talking about it the other day. There's a few cats now, that are like the way we were. That we all traveled together. We all motivated each other, pushed each other. But for the most part, it's a very for self generation, and you don't see it as much, And it sucks because that's part of the best part of wrestling. Like, it's been so many years since we've seen each other, but we're talking right now like if we saw each other last week. You know what I mean? It's like that. But like for these kids, they don't have that. And that's because part of it is they grew up with iPads, social media, they didn't really talk to each other. They don't have that experience that we had after a match. If people, like, how many times Key had his little camcorder, recorded the match, we watched the match after, you know what I mean, on the ride home, while his girlfriend or whoever was driving us. You know what I mean? Like, we all did that, you know what I mean? And then the fact that, like, we could all mess around and, it was like, I said it was like we all went to college, but we didn't go to college. We had that dorm experience, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you got a question. What's one piece of advice you would give the younger generation of wrestlers? I'm guessing of wrestlers, but yeah.
Honestly, is to go to school first and have something to fall back on, because we've all seen people who have gotten paralyzed. Obviously, there's people who've died.
Yep.
And if you ain't got nothing, I mean, what are you going to do if you get hurt? It's so easy to get hurt in this game, and you need that thing to fall back on. And like, we were all told that. We were like, yeah, sure, buddy. You know what I mean? But we all had our struggles where when we were trying to get that outside job, it was like, this ain't gonna fall so easy for me.
Yeah, Louis was one of the ones that wasn't in that boat. I'm with you. I remember
I was the smart one,
bouncing and bouncing around until
But isn't Louis like 30 years older than us too? So like, he had almost his AARP card.
I just acted 30 years older.
But I mean, when I talk to any of these kids, I say the same thing. I'm like, go to school first. You don't have to go to college. Go to like, a Votech school.
Trade school.
Just get something that you enjoy. Like, if I would have known back then, I would have went to school for electronics.
I used to tell people get CDL.
Yeah. CDL is easy to play into a lot of it. That's how I got most of my jobs. You know what I mean?
That's printed money right there.
Yeah. But that it just, anything can happen with this wrestling nonsense that, 1 minute you on top rope, the next minute you down on the floor, can't move. And that sucks.
That was the way I started thinking. Like later, a little bit later on, I was like, man, I ain't got no fucking health insurance. If I get fucked up right now,
Yeah.
who the fuck's gonna cover my bill?
But you know who put me on to stuff like that was like Charlie and Russ Haas, because we'd be doing, and again, this is where sharing the road life with them. They were college educated. They were telling me a month.
Stock markers. So it was stock market, right?
Yeah. And they were like, you guys got to get jobs where you get, who knows about 401ks? You know what I mean? Who knows about health insurance in wrestling right now? You got to make sure you got that kind of backup, because without it, it's so easy to get hurt or worse in this. And then you ain't got nothing, But at least if you got one of those jobs where you have health, and you got 401k and other stuff, then you're protected somewhat. You know what I mean? And ever since that, I got that knowledge from them. Every job I've had some sort of health and 401k and other benefits, because you need it. Especially with how the world is today.
It's scary how many guys don't have it, especially a lot of, I would say 90% of the deathmatch guys. Like, I was blown away how many of them don't have anything. I was like, fuck, man. And these guys have hospital bills and fake with so many fake names. There's like probably 1,000. There's probably 1 million Frank Smiths that are owed hospital bills. Yeah. It's crazy, man. It's
when I was wrestling Mace one time, and he jumped off a ladder and he caught his chin on the top of my head, and he split open. And now the company had insurance, but we didn't know that. And we went to the hospital. It was me, him, Key, and I think Don Montoya. And we told them, we were like, listen, just say you forgot your wallet at home because, this happened and we were out in a rush. Your name is Herb Perez. And like anytime any one of us got hurt, Herb Perez was the one that got hurt.
When Laydown broke his arm.
Yep.
Yep.
Herb Perez.
You had to have surgery.
Yeah.
Herb Perez had the surgery.
Herb Perez got the most bills from the Doghouse crew. That, and he started calling people Mark D. Jobber. So
crazy.
Do what you got to do.
Shit, man. Yeah, when you think about it, right? Yeah. Crazy stuff, man.
Yeah, any questions, Sean?
Shit, I don't know what y'all missed.
You guys do like the Bee Gees? No, Robert, no.
I don't know what I missed when I walked away. So.
Hey, I got one. Hey, tell any funny stories you can think of.
Okay.
Because there was so many of them, man, and a lot of them with us.
Names. I'm gonna protect the names of the innocent, but I'm pretty sure if I say a key word, you guys are gonna know. Stockade won't, because he wasn't there for this. Okay. But Stockade, I'll tell you off camera.
Okay.
So we were in Philly at the Holiday Inn.
Oh shit!
And
there's so many Holiday Inn stories though.
I remember there was these two friendly girls, Frankenstein and Yokozuna.
Yeah.
And I remember my cousin telling me him walking into a room, and he saw the most amazing sight. And he said there was this skinny little dude who was on top of Yokozuna, and that it looked like a little lizard basking in the sun on top of a giant rock. Yeah. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then also, shout out to Guapo, because Guapo always reminds me of this story. After a certain 187, I almost said his name, threw a whole bucket of like cigar guts.
Oh, that's not the same night.
It was the same night, right?
No, was it? No.
Oh, it was a different night?
Night,
so when that night happened, it was like, what was it? Cigar guts,
coffee,
shaving cream, coffee,
anything you find in the room, coffee, shampoo, conditioner,
piss concoction that he threw on, was it Yokozuna or was it Frankenstein or both?
Probably both.
I think it
was crazy.
Yeah, it was
crazy.
And he was also drunk. You don't feed or give Homicide drinks after midnight. He's like a gremlin. You know what I'm saying?
The thing was, he went in the bathroom. And he was in the bathroom for a long time, and he's just laughing. Like, you can hear him laughing. He's the only one in there, right? So I'm like, what the fuck, right? So I go in the bathroom, and he's like, yo. And then I go, what the fuck, dude? And then I go, Steve, come here. So Steve comes in and we're like, dude, what the fuck? And he's like, yo, I'm almost done. When I'm done, I'm gonna throw it in their face. And when I throw it, we're gonna run. And I look at Steve and I'm like, Steve, man, let's just leave now.
Yeah. We were in the hallway, and
we were in the hallway.
You hear the oh,
you heard it.
Turn the lights off.
Yep.
He turned the lights off on a whoosh, and then we run down this like we were on the top floor, so we couldn't get the elevator. So now we got running down the staircase like a bunch of idiots. We took the wrong staircase.
Probably like
it was the one to the pool.
Six, seven.
There was
of us, right?
There was
probably
no
more
entrance.
than that, right?
Yeah.
Probably like 7 of us running down the stairs, laughing like idiots as we're running.
Yeah. And what Guapo reminds me about that is that
when you scaled the fucking gate.
Yeah, you were the first one
he
over
was
the
like,
gate.
bro, you were like a ninja. You hopped one step and then leaped over on the other side.
The gate was tall. The gate that was like at least an 18-foot gate.
No, it wasn't no fucking 18
It was
feet.
probably like 10 feet. It was like
it was
10
tall.
feet,
That gate was tall.
18 feet.
And he's like, that's the most amazing thing. Now, I don't remember it until he tells me it, but then this is the crazy part. Key reminded me. He was like, you remember that time that you jumped the fence with one leap? And I was like, what? You remember that? And he's like, yeah, of course I remember that. That was so impressive. I was like, you put me over 1, and 2, that you remember that. That's even more amazing.
Dude, that was a crazy freaking.
The best part about it, because we got a question here. So what did they do after that was thrown on them? So after it was thrown on them, we all we finally get over the gate and we make it to the parking lot where our cars were. So we get in the car, and as we get in the car, I look up and they're just looking out the window at us. I look up and they're just staring, they're just looking out the window like this. That shit was so fucking funny, dude.
Good times.
That shit was so funny.
Cold-blooded.
I mean, there's so many just random things that have happened to us that we really need to sit and be around each other for a few days, and it'll all flood back to us, because I know there's stuff that I know in times that I've thought about. I'm like, man, I need to tell them that I thought of this, and then I just, it leaves my head as soon as it comes in. You know what I mean? So
remember, me and you would just make up random songs about people.
But you guys,
okay.
The one thing, Stockade, that these guys used to complain about is I would have the most banging ass stories with chicks, and they would always end up in disaster. And they'd be like, "What the fuck, Steve?"
Yes.
Damn it, Steve! I'm tired of you telling me
infamous
stories.
Infamous stories.
Yeah.
You're like, what? And then it went downhill.
Yeah, it would be last second swerves, and it was so many of them.
You know what one of my favorite stories is, and I'm not gonna say nobody's names, but the infamous story with somebody getting a Hummer and everybody's doing Mexican rolls and locking up.
Yes. While it was being filmed
in the ring,
and everyone's doing roll arounds.
Yes. Doing conquistador rolls and shit.
I could say the one name. Lathon was like, Lucha. Do you remember that? He kept screaming it out. He was like, Este sábado y domingo, lucha.
Rápidamente.
Oh no.
I mean, there's the other time that somebody was hooking up with a girl in a caravan a couple of blocks away, and a few guys went on a witch hunt, and when they found the caravan, they all snuck up to the caravan and shook the entire thing that almost fell on its side.
You guys are fucking nuts.
Jesus.
You guys are dicks.
I remember I remember Lathon's girlfriend one time. She was eating the Chinese. Remember, it was the stupidest thing you could ever do was have food in your hand, because either it was gonna get slapped out of your hand or it was gonna get broken in your hand.
Yep.
So she's eating a styrofoam thing of Chinese rice, whatever. And remember, she used to like to talk shit. So she's talking shit, and I'm like, bah! Get it out of here! And the shit flew all in her face, like rice and everything. All in she had like how like Chinese rice has the egg in it. She had a fucking egg in her eyebrow ring.
That's awesome. And
Jesus.
she used to have dreads,
Fuck.
so like I'm pretty sure there was rice in her hair.
Yeah,
you know what I
there was
mean?
rice everywhere, dude.
Mhm.
She's like,
That's
"You
awesome.
fucking asshole."
I remember
shit.
one of the guys, I don't want to say who, but one of the ladies that was training there, she really didn't want to do anything to do with real wrestling. She just wanted to get her relatives in, right? And she wanted to hang around the boys. That's all she wanted to do. And so she went up, so the locker room for the doghouse was upstairs. And usually there would be somebody standing guard at the top of the steps or the bottom of the steps. Don't go up there. And everyone's like, all right, cool. So I forgot who was standing guard. And the guy was in there. She had somebody standing guard for him, like to watch, so she could make her move on him. And she was like, "You like what you see?" And she lifts up her shirt. She pulls out her tit. He's like, "Yeah." Then she pulls out the other one and had this big, long, curly hair coming out her nipple. And he was like,
Oh.
"Steve, I wanted to gag." And she's like, "It's all yours." And he's like, "Oh, thank you. Put them away, though. Put them away. I don't want anybody to come upstairs."
Like, they're all yours. Should I braid that?
He said it was like 3 hairs sticking up too.
Oh God.
Yeah. It's fun times.
Jesus Christ.
That doghouse is something special though. They'll never be anything.
Doghouse was quality. Quality, man. Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
there was so much crazy shit to happen.
We also had stuff like at JP where we would do like stupid stuff like Boogie and Stryker teaming up wearing fucking Sabu pants.
Yes. Yo, I remember that match, right?
Uh-huh.
So, because I remember somebody was like, "What the fuck?" Because you came out, we worked you guys. You came out and you had some gum and you spit your gum at me, and I went like that, and I caught it and I put it in my mouth, and then somebody was like, "That's fucking gross."
I think Stockade would have loved the Bayonne crowd.
I Mega says it all the time. I joined too late, but I was way too young. But yeah, man, I watched all that old stuff. I've seen all of it. I've heard the stories from sharing the locker rooms with you guys. I really do wish I was able to be part of that.
Steve, remember the boardwalk?
Mm-hmm.
Boardwalk shows.
Were you with us when people were tripping over the board? I think you guys we got there Friday.
Was that
night.
when we were hanging out and we were just standing there waiting and watching everybody trip? Yeah.
Trip. Oh, okay, yeah.
You're
like, people will never understand how amazing stuff like that.
And your laugh was making motherfuckers super upset.
Yep. Dude, there was right at midway of Seaside, there's like a Italian sausage sandwich place, right? And the board was sticking up maybe like that much, so everybody would trip. And so, like at one point, I mean, the video should be on YouTube. I know Matrom recorded it.
Didn't we found it because one of us tripped first?
Yeah, one of us tripped. I don't remember if it was Danny or who it was, but somebody tripped and ate it.
We're like, let's just post up here.
And we just sat. And within 10 minutes, what would you say? Like 2,000 people, 3,000 people were surrounding us.
Yeah.
Because the whole spot was surrounded, but then where that board was, they left it. Everybody was walking like, what the hell's going on? And then they tripped, and everybody, oh! So like all these people, oh! And like you'd hear me, my stupid laugh, and they would get so mad, but like they couldn't do nothing because they tripped over the board. So at the end, the cops come. And the next summer, they've knocked that board down. They tightened it up so that people wouldn't trip over it anymore. But
remember that? I remember that. Remember going and doing karaoke.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. Us doing karaoke.
Yeah, was that when I took off my shirt while I was singing like Boys to Men?
We were singing to Beth. Remember?
Yes. That part so much, man.
And then remember was it me and you? We did fucking the scene from Dirty Dancing.
Yes. Yeah.
You catch me. And that was before that was a thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like we used to do some of the dumbest nonsense, but that's because again, we were always together. We got each other's humor. We gelled so quick. Like I said, bro, when everybody was like, "Oh, yo, the commentator, you should fuck him up." I'm like, nah, it's cool, man. Like there was something there. I was like, because if it would have been anybody else, we probably would have fucked him up. You know what I mean? But we were cool. Like just everything was cool. You know what I mean? And it was just different. I can't explain. Like there was a connection without even knowing that there was a connection. And hopefully, there's other people out there in wrestling who got the same experience or as close to the same experience as we got. But it's hard to top what we did because, you look at the Doghouse, you look at, going to JP, going to Ring of Honor, going to Pops, all that stuff we all did together for such a long time. And it was always something new and something different, but always something fun, and I don't know, like somebody, they always, aren't you upset that you didn't make it to TV? And I was like, no, I don't care. I had an awesome career. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's a funny thing because he just texted me, Mama Bounty Hunter, that we went down to his house in North Carolina. He just texted me. He's like, awesome show. He has this line that he says, and I love the line because it's so true. He goes, I think it's what he says, Chung. He goes, I might not have done a lot, but I've done more than most.
Mm-hmm.
And he's no matter how you say it, I'm happy with the way my career was.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool that I got to do a little extra work for WWE at the 20-year mark. Like I never thought it was gonna. I was like, it's nothing, But then one day, I saw somebody who was older than me, and I actually just told him the other day, Preacher, he had done some extra work. I know Preacher's a little bit older than me, so I was like, you know what? If he could get a shot, then I'm younger than him. Why not? What's the worst he can tell me? Is no. Yeah. So I reached out, I hit him up, and John Cohen hit me up right away. He was like, bro, you just missed the loop around here, but when we come back, I'll be more than happy. I know who you are, and we're more than happy to give you extra work. I was like, man, that's what's up. You know what I mean? But like, it wasn't something it wasn't something like, I was like, I need to be on TV. I did a bunch of stuff with TV guys and, whatever, but all the memories that we have, like we changed the entire business. You know what I mean? And that includes you guys. That includes SAT. That includes Homicide, Key, Moth.
Yeah.
All
the
of
whole New York,
nights.
we were what we can consider the New York strong style movement.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there would be no Ring of Honor if it wasn't for us.
No.
There would have never been no indie boom.
Yeah.
Because the indie boom started with us. That shit started with us. I don't care what nobody says. The East Coast put that shit on the map.
Of course. And
nobody was doing what we were doing.
It's crazy because I don't know, like you guys know how I am. I'm very much like, I'm just Steve. I'm nothing, I say it all the time, I'm nothing special. But like, we all are like that. Like none of us go around like, yo, I made all this shit happen, because the only time I really talk about anything wrestling is when I'm doing interviews. Otherwise, I don't throw around anything that I've done. You know what I mean? Because it only matters to me, but like, I don't think that anybody else really, and I know that there are people that pay attention and care or whatever, but like, it's just like, it's crazy that like, we're all like that too. Even D really don't be putting it out there that he's Homicide. You know what I mean? He could easily be throwing on, NWA world champ, junior heavyweight champ, tag team champ. You know what I mean? He doesn't. He really doesn't. And like, sometimes I have to tell him, I'm like, bro, I don't understand why people don't tell me certain things. I said, because you're Homicide. They're scared of you. That don't mean nothing. I'm like, no, Homicide carries weight. That name means something. But like, he don't see that. You know what I mean? And I'm like, nah, you got to see that. Like, we all, and then he'll remind me like the next week. It's like, no, you fucking Steve, bro. You fucking crazy. And I'm like, nah, I'm just fucking Steve. You know, I'm not Steve Mack or Monsta Mack or whatever. I don't see that. But like when I talk to the kids a lot at schools, I tell them all the time, I'm like, there's 8-9 billion people in the world. And let's say out of that 8-9 billion, 200,000 of us are wrestlers and know what it's like to stand on the top rope or hear people cheer our name. Like, that's not even 0.1% of the population that know what we know. You know what I mean? And like, it's the coolest fucking shit, bro. I know every time anybody, it didn't matter if it was kids, grown ups, whatever, they came up to me and was like, oh, good match. That means something to me because I have my own family that don't say shit to me. You know what I mean? So to have strangers come up, that's some cool ass shit. So if I never made it to TV, if I had those people, just those people telling me good match, then that's fucking dope because honestly, what would I be doing if I wasn't a wrestler? You know what I mean? Probably wasting time and not in jail, fucking doing some stupid shit, you know? But wrestling made me into something to be proud of. And like I said, it's really cool that the really cool shit is that we have this brotherhood, all of us. We could be, like I said, we could be years and then we see each other at a show or do an interview. And it's, like I said, like we haven't talked, since last week. You know what I mean? Like me and Moff say it all the time. Before JAP, I never met Moff. And we got together and you guys were there from the beginning. You saw the chemistry we had. It was as if we had grown up together. There were times we fought because we were that close. We were that tight. We were like brothers. You know what I mean? Brothers, you guys know, brothers fight. That's what brothers do. And that's what me and Moff say.
What was the nickname he had for you?
He used to call me Porky.
And then Pork Dork.
Porkadork. He called me Poink. He was like, what if you did a clown doink with a pig? Poink. I'm like, I realized that would not work.
You should be like, hey, just leave the comedy to us, man.
You be the bully, we'll be the comedians.
Yes.
But, but then like we get together and it's as if we haven't missed a beat, and we got chemistry out the ass. And it's pretty crazy how you could have that in wrestling, considering, a lot of times you're meeting people for the first time and you can have the best match meeting someone for the first time. Like, where else can you do that? You don't see football players, basketball players, baseball. None of those guys could do it, But here we are. We meet somebody for 5 minutes and we got a whole flow going and we make some magic, It's pretty cool what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You ain't wrong about that, bro.
No, not at all.
Excuse me.
You want to mark out for him, Stockade?
Market. Dude, I've been fortunate enough, man. Like I worked Steve.
I know Steve so much.
No, I think we worked at Ace, right? You and Havoc. I mean, yep. Steve, I worked Steve at all phases of my career. I mean, not this one, not yet at least, but I mean, I've been fortunate enough to be taken under his wing, Moffs, you guys, which I mean, that really fuck you guys. But no, Kingston.
They ruined you.
They did. They corrupted me at a young age. These pricks breaking stinks and just splitting people's heads open. But no, like I mean, I have been fortunate to kind of be like, I was like, I guess the generation after you guys, and like, fortunate enough to learn from you guys and be there when now it's like kids now, they don't have that. Like Steve was saying, there's no.
Well, I say it all the time about him though. He was one of the kids that wanted to learn. Kaide always wanted to learn, so he'd always ask questions, and I was always drawn to him because he was, he's like us, you know what I'm saying? He came from the same background as me. He was an amateur wrestler, so I knew that right off rip. So I'm gonna help him. So I mean, that's why I was always.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you guys, I kind of feel like I said, Mega says it all the time. Like I joined too late, obviously for obvious reasons, but. You guys have been nothing but golden to me. So, Steve, I mean, we've worked. I think I worked you at NYWC Ace, almost everywhere. We've had tons of matches. So
the Ace match that we had, that last Ace match was awesome. Yeah, I remember doing a whole bunch of crazy shit, and we kind of were just like, "Fuck it, whatever happens, happens."
I don't even think we called anything.
I don't think so either. I think we just went out there. We knew what we were going to do at the end, but everything else was just.
Yeah, the only regret I have is that I never got to work with you and Steve, you and Moff together. It's been on the docket. I think me and Raver were supposed to work you guys at CZW, and then that fucking DJ. So
part of it was Moff. The older I get, I understand Moff's background, like decisions to do certain things, and at the time, he really he wasn't in love with CZW, And
Well, Syndicate was like his jam, right? That was like his
yeah,
spot.
yeah. That was his bread and butter. So whenever they ran up against CZW, he would be there, and it was hard to. They gave us the belts, and we were both thinking that we were going to make every show to defend them, but then all of a sudden they the lineups, the dates, they were the same dates, and he missed like 3 or 4, so DJ had to do what he had to do, and like I know that there was a time like they were considering doing me and Kyle the Beast full time there, but even then Kyle the Beast had stuff to do too, you know what I mean? So, and by the way, it's 12 different tag partners for over 88 titles, overall 88 titles. I want to say it's 88, but it might be like 87. But out of that 87, only 10 of them are about singles. So everything else is all tag matches. But with 12,
have you been tag champions with almost every partner?
Yeah.
You didn't win no belt.
No, that was we were supposed to win Pop's belt the one show.
Yeah,
and then
we
they switched on us.
We were supposed to win the Samoan Cup, and then it disappeared.
Yeah,
I actually got a funny story about the Hit Squad.
Whatever happened to that though? What happened to that? Because me and you were supposed to win Samoan Cup, and then you
3PW. I had got booked for 3PW. They were paying me a lot of money, and I had asked Sam if I could do 3PW. He's like, I need you there because it's the cup. I was like, they're paying me more. He was like, it's all right. I'll get Homicide. Right? That's what we got. He got Homicide. Yeah.
I actually got it's not a funny story. I mean, it's funny to me, but to the kids, you remember when NYWC brought you and Danny in as a team, and you guys were working my 2 guys, the 2 kids I trained, and I think it was the girl Victoria who should never have been in the business, but I think she sold something for Danny, right? It was something of that, dude. You and Danny, I remember you came up to me like, "Yo, Danny's gonna kill this girl." I was like, "Okay, fucking teach her a lesson." And they chewed this girl's like it was the moment where I was like, wrestling's completely changed, because if it would have happened with like the guys that I came up with, it'd be like, "Yes, sir, sorry, sir, I apologize." And these kids were just like, okay, like they just didn't give a fuck. Did not give a fuck. Now, granted, she never wanted to be in the business to begin with, so to her, it's who the fuck are these guys? But I mean, I've never seen Steve get hot. Danny gets hot at the drop of a dime.
Right.
But when I started seeing Steve get hot, I was like, holy shit, this actually is like getting intense. And they fucking had the whole locker room just sitting still. And you guys know NYWC was Mikey's world. Nobody got hot but Mikey. And even Mikey just sat there like, let it happen. And yeah, it was intense. They fucking ripped these kids a new asshole. And they deserved it. But at the end of the day, they still were like, what? I mean, I
remember that because that locker room is super duper tight. And I remember for some reason everyone gave us space, like they found room to move. We were going at it.
Like you guys changed. It was me, Mega, you guys, Papa Di. It was like, and it was. I don't know. You guys never. You were in the old building they're at now, right? You guys, or Boogie was. I don't know if LowRyda was. Well, he was.
I didn't work there.
Yeah, you were. That was when.
That's when
You never worked there when you after. No, okay.
Right. But you remember how it was 3 rooms? It was the first room, and then the middle, and then the big locker room. So it was like all the young new kids and guys came out were in the big one, and then it was all like the grizzled guys. And it was. But then like Moff and Steve went in there, and it was like school was in session, and teacher was talking. They ripped that entire locker room apart, but it was good. It's what it needed to be, but. Like he was saying, now these kids, they don't have that. Now, if you do that, somebody's going to go on Twitter, so-and-so's a bully, so-and-so's this, so-and-so's that. And
Monsta Mack and Mafia yelled at me.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. It just, but you know what, though? Like, it's part of the generation outside, not even in wrestling. It's just a lot of kids, their parents are my special baby this, my special baby that. Everyone gets a participation trophy, and you did good, even though you came in last place. Listen, I'm not a dick to my daughter. My daughter is my world. I love her. But if she goes in last place, I'm going to tell her, hey, you were in last place. What do you got to do to do better next time? Like, I'm not going to be a total dick, but I'm going to let her know, like, hey, don't settle for last place. And a lot of these parents, no, you did good. You did good. You tried, and that's all that matters. No, be better. Do better, or else don't do it. You're taking a spot away from someone else. And a lot of these kids don't understand that crap, man.
I agree 100% with you, man.
Like I say it all the time. Like I'm all for being inclusive. You know, we did stuff with the Christopher Street Connection when, you know, a lot of people. I saw people talk like, oh, you know, if Christopher Connection was in my way, I'd slap the shit out of them because they're not really gay. But you know what? If it wasn't for the Christopher Street Connection, were there any gay guys who were walking around locker rooms before Christopher Street Connection? No. They opened up the door so that way the guys that really were gay and lesbian or whatever else, the Rainbow Coalition, could be a part of the locker room, be out and be themselves. So Buffy and Mace ate a lot of that stuff from everybody. You know what I mean?
And got over.
Yeah, and they got over. They got taken to Japan multiple trips. You know what I mean? They went to Japan. How many times you saw their tape from Japan where the fans are lining up to get kissed by them? You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
Like it didn't matter if they were gay or not. They dedicated themselves to the character. And because they did that, a lot more promoters were open to, all right, well, if I'm going to have a gay guy on the roster or a gay girl on the roster, then that's cool. You know what I mean? But a lot of these kids are like, no, fuck them. You know, they wanted to cancel them. And I'm like, you can't, because they opened it up so you could be here where you're at now. You know what I mean?
I got a question because I've never experienced it myself. Like, I mean, you go on Twitter and you see there's like all gay wrestling shows, which is awesome. But I personally, and maybe it's my generation, or maybe I'm just not something I care about enough to give. I don't care about anyone's life outside of wrestling. But was there ever a time for you guys that you felt like that wrestlers, that if they were gay, lesbian, whatever, they weren't accepted by a locker room? Because I've known a lot of guys that were, you know, in the closet. I mean, I could have cared less. I never noticed it. So, I mean, if there was, maybe it was before my time.
There was, I remember clearly, one wrestler that, I don't know if you guys knew him, but there was one wrestler who was always, and I knew because, I mean, you guys see, I'm like Uncle Steve. Everybody can talk to me. I don't judge. I don't care. You know what I mean? I'll give you straight up advice, whatever. But for whatever reason, a lot of people feel relaxed around me and they tell me. And I remember this one guy, he was gay, and it was like he was so afraid to come out because he knew that the guys that he was with, you know, wrestling with, they were going to treat him drastically different. And, you know, when he retired, he came out, and I can remember certain people just like, get away from me. And like, but that was, you know, the late 90s, early 2000s, before, you know, people were more open to that. You know what I mean? And it just, you know, like I said, for me, my mom, she hung out with a ton of gay people. She was always part of the AIDS walkathon, stuff like that. And, you know, I was always around gays and lesbians and trans and everything that you could think of before, you know, people grew up with that stuff. Uh-oh.
I'm not laughing at that. You know, I'm laughing at that.
Yeah, I saw. But
put some bass in your voice back. I'm not
gonna fall for that. No, hip hop gag. But you know, my mom, she opened me up to that, and because of that, I never judged anyone for, you know, what you want to do at home. That's your business. I don't care. You know what I mean? I do what I do. You do what you do. We work. We do what we got to do. We have some fun. If not, then you go do your thing, and I'll be respectful. You know,
you gotta do like Eddie. You gotta do like Eddie Murphy and Delirious. You know, he's like, I'm gonna have a beer. I'm gonna suck a dick. All right, you have fun.
Yeah, pretty much. But and then, you know, like I said, I'm all for everyone getting a chance. Pro wrestling, because
I agree with you,
you know,
100%.
like you look at someone like Sonny Kiss, who is just an amazing athlete. Sonny Kiss is awesome.
Athlete.
Yeah. But like, the problem is there's a lot of people who have been using that platform and to get in, and they're not good. I don't care if you're black, white, gay, straight, whatever. You could be a fish. That's fine. Can you wrestle? Because that's all that matters. If you can wrestle and I could trust you, that's what matters. But don't come at me and say, because I'm black or because I'm gay or because I'm whatever, I got to be a part of this. You do not have to be a part of this.
I agree 100% with that.
Was that?
I agree 100% with that. And like, if you say that to some people, it like triggers them. Like, how dare you? Wrestling should be for everyone. Yes, it should be for everyone. But there are certain people that should not be inside of a ring wrestling.
No, but that's what I'm saying. No, it shouldn't be for everyone, because if you can't wrestle and I can't trust you,
Yeah.
because you give me trust to be in the ring with you, I have to have trust for you to be in the ring with me. And if I don't have that trust, we're not going to have a good match, and it's not going to be something that people want to see. I mean, people forget the object of this is so that we could all make some money, make a living. You know, we love it, and I'm sure most of us would do it for free. Not that we would tell anybody that, but it's still to get paid at the end of the day. You know, and the object is to make the most money that you can, putting on the best matches, having the most fun. But if you're in there with someone who doesn't know how to work, and we've all been in there with someone who doesn't know how to work, you know what I mean? That they don't even know how to do a simple wrist lock or, take a clothesline, and, they end up getting hurt. And we look like the bad guy because they're the ones that didn't know how to take it, but they had us believe that they were good enough. Don't work that way. You know what I mean? But my problem is like, I've got 10,000 followers on Instagram or Twitter, and you need to use me, or, I'm going to let them all know that you're, homophobic or transphobic or whatever. Nah, bro, it's nothing to do with that at all. If you were a purple Martian, if you sucked in the ring, I'm going to tell you suck. You know what I mean?
I don't. Nothing personal.
Yeah, it's not personal, but
Okay.
It's just funny that Angel's like the oldest guy and he's still the biggest kid around all of them.
That is a freaking understatement.
And then the only question I have is, because I've always wondered, I've seen it, and then is who and when did the wall throwing, like, was that you that came up with that? So, and like, when was the first time you guys did it? Because the only I've only seen a few. One of them was the plasma, and that was horrific. Or Trent, Brett, or whatever you got, you know him as. But I've only seen that, and I think it was
Rocky Romero Rocky Romero put that in the song when you threw him.
He did. He shouted me out, and Rocky hit me up too. He was like, "Yo, Steve, I'm about to just listen to this," and I was like, "Oh, that's awesome." But so me and Key had talked about it because when Key and I first started, we used to do some wild spots. Like I used to give Key, we'd set up about 8 chairs like this on the floor right next to each other. And I would choke slam him off the apron through the chairs.
Yep.
So we were like, all right, well, we got to come up with something a little bit safer. So remember seeing Bam Bam Chuck Spike. And we had talked about using that possibly. And, Moff was in the car with us when we were talking about it. And then we were having like a big show for the Doghouse. Like Bobby Lombardi had a camera crew there taping it. He was going to try to distribute Doghouse Wrestling. And so we were wrestling Christopher Street because that's what we were doing, around the horn. And Moff was like, "Yo, Steve, you mind if I try doing the press out the ring?" I was like, "Go ahead, go for it." And at the Doghouse, there was one of those metal fences.
The rolling gate.
Yeah, the rolling fence. So we would leave it up
in front of the stores.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
We would leave it up during the show because it was hot, so you got some air. And because it was like that, it was kind of loose. So Moff took Mace and threw him sideways. And then it went nuts, like, obviously, because who sees – how many times you've seen someone get thrown out of the ring and let alone into a wall or fence or whatever.
Yeah.
And, so then I remember at JP a couple of months after, we felt like we were kind of being disrespected by the bookers. It was Ray and, I don't want to say it was Frank because I don't think Frank ever really booked anything, but it was Ray and a couple other guys.
You did that to Donna, it will look like a psychologist. Oh, Jesus Christ. What do you see here?
But tell me what you see.
What comes to your mind when you see this?
But we were kind of pissed that we weren't getting like everybody. They were bringing in big names for them. And when it came to the Hit Squad, we felt like we were the main event and they weren't bringing in anybody for us. We were wrestling all the younger guys. And I remember telling Moff, I was like, "Moff, I'm going to do the wall today." He was like, "You sure?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to."
Wasn't it like at that time they moved the ring?
To the other side.
The ring was like maybe 5 feet from the wall or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And originally it was where we wrestled when me and you and Moff and Stryker wrestled. It was on that side.
It was on the other side. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they moved it to the new
Yeah.
side because they had gotten access to the building next door.
Right.
And we had that show, and I want to say it was Insane Dragon that I threw first. It might have been Elax. It's either Elax or Insane Dragon, but either which way, I think it was Elax because Elax, I threw him and he was a little bit bigger. He probably weighed like about 170. And so when he hit, it looked like it was disgusting because he hit, bounced, and fell straight to the floor. So from that point on, they put padding so that way when the guys fell, they landed on the padding, But we hit a home run with that, and like the place went nuts. So then Moff would be the one to hype it up, and he became like my Flavor Flav on that. You know what I'm saying? And he would call for it, and Bayonne would just go nuts. And I remember one time one of the most ouch, even worse than Tremberetta's, did it to Elax at the Murphy Rec Center in Philly. Before Ring of Honor ran there, JP ran there. And I told the Elaxes, I'm going to do the press, but because the ring is diagonal to the entrance, I'm going to do it, and I want you to land on your feet. There's no wall, so land on your feet and then go. And for whatever reason, he forgot to put his feet down, and he took the Superman bump straight down to the floor.
Oh.
He like skimmed. It was like boom, boom, And when we got downstairs, Homicide was like, bro, what was that? Like he said, it sounded like an earthquake because he bounced and skimmed so many times. And like that one kind of scared me. That and the Tizzle Whizzle for
Tizzy.
The one with Danny Drake, actually, speaking of Mike Tizzle,
that was the worst one.
Danny Drake was probably the worst one out of all of them, though, because he as I'm launching him, he grabs onto the rope because he got nervous. It's natural. And I would tell everybody, I'm like, listen, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. But if you're going to do it, don't grab onto the rope because you're going to go straight down. I remember telling him, and when you watch, he goes and he grabs onto the rope just long enough so that instead of going out, he went straight down.
He hit the wall, but went straight down.
Yeah, he went straight down.
He still made it to the wall, but he went straight down head first.
But if he didn't grab onto the rope, he would have went fine. But it's a reaction, and that kind of scared me because I heard him snoring.
Yeah, because he threw him, and he grabbed the rope, and then his body kept going. He hit the wall back first, and then came straight down.
I've seen that clip. Yeah, that was scary.
You know what I mean? And it was at that point I was like, all right, well, people got hurt. I don't know how much we're gonna do this. So like then it became like we did it once in a while, and then it was 10 years in between. We did it at JP. The next time we did it with Dickinson and Sammy Callahan, we did it in Rawway. But then that was pretty much one of the last times that we did it because I was like, it's cool and all, but we could tease it and get enough out of the tease. We teased it at Beyond a couple of times, and people were biting on it. So it was like, we don't have to hit it. We could do the tease, and then eventually, we'll do it, out of nowhere. We did it one time with Mikey Webb and Dijak, but what we did is we didn't have the wall. Dijak was like 20 feet away, and we pressed him. It was actually a cool picture that someone took of the many stages of Mikey Webb in midair. And, you could see how far we threw him. We threw him pretty far. But, it was just something that we wanted to be different and be cool. And that's how we stood out. We were always thinking of weird things like that. And that was one of the things that really just caught on. And we, like I said, we had no like, this is going to be our thing. It was just happened and got over,
Yeah, definitely.
I did it one time to Demonto, and he I tripped as I'm launching him. So I start going down. He went right into the corner post. I was like, oh, he's so dead right now. But you can't kill Demonto. He's like a roach.
Yeah, you seen that motherfucker that when he fell out the ring and broke his he broke his femur?
Yes.
Or something like that. Oh my God.
And the crazy thing is we told him because it was me and Key in charge of the locker room. We were like, don't do it. Well, I gotta do it. I need that pop. and like
He
Reefer.
got the
even-
pop all right. It was his femur.
Yep. And it was like, bro, you don't need to do it. But people
Yeah.
learn.
Yeah.
All right, Steve, we're gonna start wrapping it up now before our little Australian guy gets his budgie smuggler all in the wad.
In a bunch.
That's what's up.
Yeah. But
If you want to hang out for a minute after Steve,
Yeah, I definitely will. I just want to send a quick couple of shout outs. Like
good man.
Yeah, of course, man.
Plug your stuff.
Plug your stuff. Also,
Steve Mack DHS on Twitter. That's the only place you're really gonna find me. Everything else is private. I don't even want to be on Twitter, but honestly, you still got to promote. April 10th, I'm wrestling for Catalyst. Me, G's, and Joker. We are the Catalyst Tag Team Champions, doing the Freebird style, baby.
Nice. That's
awesome.
Yeah, and then April 23rd, it's me and Low Life Louie in an ambulance match for Titan Championship Wrestling. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
That's gonna be fucking fun.
And we've been building up a little bit of a.
Will you get smacked with a dildo again?
It might happen, but I'm gonna try not to. But because it's Louis, I might let it happen.
When is that show?
April 23rd.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only problem is it's a little family friendly, but I'm sure we could sneak in some nonsense there. You know what I mean? But and then like I said, I'm doing the Glory Days podcast with Ray.
Which Ray is that?
That is the Respect the Craft.
Which Ray is that?
Raymundo. I believe it's Sanchez. I forget.
Okay.
I'm pretty bad with names.
Shout out to Ray.
Big Ray. But what you call? Outside of that, I've just been hanging around. So you know what I mean? Like you'll catch me around. Hit me up on Twitter. I usually answer. But I just want to send shout outs to Guapo. Me and him talk every day, and like over the last 4 or 5 years, maybe even more, like 10 years, we really keep in touch, and like we keep each other motivated. And if there's anybody who really is out of the boys who've been keeping on top of me to make sure I do my thing, it's him. He's always like trying to get me to be motivated, and it's like, Steve, I don't want to hear this shit. You got to do this. I'm like, bro, leave me alone. But Guap, I got friends all over the place that like my friend Killer Cam was like, you better shout me out. And I'm like, all right, whatever, I'll shout you out.
But
like
Cam.
Cam is one of my buddies outside of wrestling.
Shout out Killer Cam.
But and then just I want to thank all the people that came to shows over the last 25 years that I've been wrestling. If you came to see the Hit Squad, Steve Mack, B Squad, Heavy Hitters, whatever it is you came to see, that was anything that I had a part to do with. I thank you because, like I said before, if it wasn't for wrestling, who the hell knows what I'd be doing. And then to have you guys tell me that you appreciate my work and you like my work, and all the boys that I share locker rooms with, including you three guys, that show me a lot of love and respect. I appreciate it, and I thank you. 25 years is a very long time. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be doing this because honestly, it's the body's starting to tell me like, hey, Steve, wrap it up, B. You know what I mean? But
wrap it up, B.
Wrap it up, B. But I'm enjoying, for the most part, being in the back and helping out with like promo wise and character development, and you see me a lot of times hanging out, telling people, giving them advice, and it's cool to see the guys that, because I'm not going to give my advice to everybody, because like I was talking about before, there's a lot of people who come into this trying to look for fame. I'm not going to help those people out, but the ones that are hungry and they study and they know, those are the ones that I'm going to. Yes, I'm down with that, Ray. He wants to shout you guys out on the
definitely, man. Definitely. Respect the Craft podcast. Definitely, Ray. We're more than willing.
There's a lot of guys that I've been taking under my wing and helping out, guys like Rick Recon and Ray Calitri, definitely Johnny Moran, and the younger guys that you could tell because I will shout them out. You know what I mean? Like on my Twitter, I'll plug their stuff, and I'm grateful that I'm in a good enough place that I can do that, and to me that's pretty cool. You know, and then like the one thing, no matter what happens in this life, my real last name is Carasquillo, and I hated my last name. I still hate my last name. I don't have that great relationship with my father, even though like we talked to each other, but it was never. I never called him dad or whatever. It was always called him by his first name, and you know, one of the cool thing is like part of that is because he never respected me being a wrestler. When I came back from Japan, he was like, "When are you gonna retire? Just give this shit up." You know what I mean? So it was like, well, damn, all right, well then, fuck you. So one of the cool things that I never made it to TV, I never did whatever, but someone showed me that in the history of the world, the people with my last name, at one point, I was the most famous with my last name in the history of the world. Now there's like
awesome.
a guy named Adrian Carasquillo, and there's I think a soccer player or a tennis player in Europe somewhere who's got the same last name. So they're taking, but I mean, that's pretty dope. In the history of the world, you're the most famous to carry your last name. You know what I mean? And it's pretty nuts that like.
Yeah, I think it was only us, and I think there's fucking I think this jobber named Hercules Ayala. But other than that,
Jobber. But like it's cool though that like not only that, but then look at the people that we all grew up around. Key, me and him were brothers. You guys saw how tight we were when we were together back in the doghouse.
Where is he at?
To be honest, him and I like we aren't as tight as we used to be. Yeah. But I know that he's down in Florida training people and doing his thing. But like the stuff that he did, the stuff that he did, even Moff, me and Moff, we've had our off and on, but Moff has gotten busy. You guys doing this thing, you transition from wrestling to doing this. And I see a lot of people shout you guys out. You know what I mean? Stockade, before he was 30, he was, one of the top deathmatch wrestling guys. And we used to tell him, don't do this shit. But he still did it. And he did it the way that he wanted to do. Yeah. You know what I mean? And we got a lot of guys, Mega, Red, the SAT. Whether you love them or not, you can't deny that we all did something special. We were always around each other. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's so fucking cool. And like I said, even D just became the NWA Junior Heavyweight Champion last week. Like, he's like 900 years old. You know what I'm saying? And he's still getting busy doing his thing. And like, that's all of us. And like, that's fucking dope that, the guys that I came up with all are doing something. And, I'm very proud to say that a lot of my best memories are with all guys like you and all the guys that I just mentioned and other people like Lathon. Just it's cool that my family, I didn't have a big family, but the outside family, that was where I had, the best times with. And, it's just fucking dope. And I'm very grateful. And thank you to everybody, whoever helped me with anything and who made me look good,
Yeah, it definitely was a great time back then, man.
Yeah, and shout out to Guapo, because you didn't mention him earlier. Yeah, definitely shout out to Guapo.
Yeah. Actually, you know who I want to shout out? Rest in peace, Chico. Chico was the man.
Oh, yeah. Chico was the man.
Chico, the one time Chico kept me company, the one time I slept in your house, he was making sure watching over me the whole time.
It's like you sleeping in
right with his face on you.
Yeah, he was like, "Who are you, son? Why are you in my house?"
Yeah. Shout out to Chico,
man.
Rest in peace, Chico.
But yeah, shit, Mac, thank you for being on, man.
Yeah,
it was
man, thank you.
Awesome to hang out and catch up and shit, man. Definitely miss you, bro.
Miss you too, guys. Miss you too.
But make sure who do we have next week?
Lucky.
All right. Yes. So next week we got Lucky 13. So make sure y'all tune in for that. Next week, Wednesday, 8:00. Tune in. Make sure you check out on Friday. We got Killing the Business. And I'm not sure what day Pierce is going to be doing this week.
Every
He's
day. Every
kind
day.
of
Because
under
he
the
has
weather.
COVID. He has COVID,
Yeah.
so he's gonna do it every day. Every day.
Make sure y'all
podcast.
check out Shooting the Shit Uncensored and
And
what's the
NXT
other one?
Roundup.
And the NXT Roundup. So yeah, and
Also
y'all can
check
catch
out
us on Tuesdays
No
on
Holds.
the No Holds Bar Sports Show. And yeah, just check us
Actually,
out, man. Follow us.
when we off air, I got to make sure I ask you guys about sleeves because I definitely want some.
Oh man, use
need
our
elephant.
code. Speaking of sleeps,
Yeah, if you or anybody in your family is an athlete, then sleeps.com is for you. Use our promo code MWAPOD for your 10% discount.
all right, and hellvape.com. Hellvape sells their healthy vaping alternatives. All their products have no nicotine, no harmful addictive chemicals. So make sure you get yourself some of their vape and pop products. God damn it, Cade.
Come on, Cade.
Using our code MWA Pop for that 10% discount.
See, look,
Cade's like, wrap it up.
No, I'm just sending the graphic to Lucky, man. Just send him the graphic to Lucky.
I'm the master of transition. I didn't even know you guys were gonna go there with the plug. I really was interested in the boxer briefs with the elephant on them.
Oh man, they got a whole bunch of them, man. You gotta see the different ones they have. I wear it around my neighborhood.
I pop.
Well, thank you all for tuning in. Make sure y'all tune in next week. Catch the Lucky 13 interview. He'll be on with us. Thank y'all again. See y'all next week.
Enjoy our podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning in to the podcast.